Hello there, this is the Misanthropic Lord, and welcome to Torment Tides of Numenera. If you haven't heard of this game, shame on you, because this is the spiritual successor to Planescape Torment. Planescape. Shut up. Planescape Torment, which is one of the best RPGs ever made. No, seriously, look online, look at reviews, it's one of the best ever made. This is a very early access look at this game. It just got released for backers on Kickstarter, so this is one of the only betas out there right now for this game, and I am super excited to play it. So we're going to start it up, and we're going to see what this game is like, and whether or not it is worthy enough to be a successor. I'm glad you asked, game, because I'm all man.
Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you.
That's no good.
Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important, as if it once meant the world to you. But the details slip away as you grasp at them.
Come back, details.
You force your eyes open.
Let's look at this body. Let's see if I'm still me.
Body is... Wait, you are wearing a form-fitting suit of some dark material.
Ooh, nice.
Recall that you were wearing something much more elaborate a short time ago. You have smooth, light brown skin, 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot.
Good.
Good muscles, strong but not bulky, and slim hips.
Oh,
Your palms are soft, as if they have not done much labor.
true.
But scars and burns on the hands and wrists suggest that you haven't always been careful.
Also true.
Why can't you remember this? Without warning, the cocoon that surrounds you shreds and tears away. You are falling. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in on itself. The world is many kilometers below you.
That's not great. I don't remember any of the moon collapsing on itself.
And they respond sluggishly. You stop tumbling head over heels. Though you are still spinning laterally, that motion has calmed as well. And you have space to assess your situation, and perhaps to understand the predicament and the body in which you find yourself. Below you, you see a large landmass. A massive ocean dominates the rest of the visible globe, dotted here and there with island chains. Small moons, unusual structures, and strange machines rush past you in glittering profusion as you plummet toward the ground.
How the hell did this happen?
It's hazy. You were in a tall passageway, its sides slicked with dew, the air warm and moist, as if you were caught in the breath of a giant organism.
Ew.
You remember fleeing in fear and exhilaration, laughing through the terror. What was it that pursued you?
A killer clown?
Something ancient and cold, its coiling power the promise of oblivion. Its shadowed tendrils struck at you, and the walls where they landed were torn apart utterly, destroyed beyond any hope of repair. You leapt into a membranous cocoon and fell from the station, the moon, and then you were empty. But who were you? What was that creature? A word surfaces in your thoughts, and you seize it before it vanishes. Sorrow. The world fills your sight. You're about to hit.
The sorrow?
It hurts your mind to recall, but you push past it, a creature of the forgotten world seeking you out across the centuries. But it's not you it seeks, is it? It sought the man whose memories you shuffle through now, and you realize suddenly that you are not him.
I'm not the man the sorrow needs?
Who? Who were you?
The Misanthropic Lord. And I still am. That's,
If you
yeah.
somehow manage to sidestep everything you know about anatomy, physics, and death, and you are surprised to realize that you do know something about it,
Yes, I do.
and you survive this fall, you suspect that you might be able to reawaken a dormant strength you sense inside you. But who could possibly survive a fall from this height?
I think I got it.
You remember reaching an escape tube, and you remember being struck by a tendril of force, and then the fall.
A tendril of force.
You open your eyes in time to see a riot of color around you, your descent barely slowed, and then agony flares throughout your body as a crunching impact destroys you.
Ooh.
The last thing you hear is a rapidly cycling whine of energy, and then darkness.
That sounds like a bad day. So, yeah. Pretty cool, guys. Pretty awesome so far. Ooh. That animation looks a little 1990s-esque, but like I said, very early access right now. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done with the game. It says that it's supposed to come out Q1 of 2017, so this is a very early... metal waves roll over the floor below, sending vibrations through the soles of your boots. I can do my own voice acting! Hooray! What is this? Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, splattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for that light. It needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. Let's examine the bowl first, before we do anything. You trace your fingers over the slippery overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp-toothed rim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move this bowl without slicing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflected light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another droplet falls from the ceiling. I will carefully move the bowl with my mighty might. Let's go ahead and do just one for 70% chance. That's doesn't look like I did it. The edges of the bowl tear at your flesh as you seize it. You grit through the pain, though, hauling the bowl over to the glowing pool of fallen light. It looks like I'm moving it telekinetically. Blood trails from your fingers into the hungry depths of the bowl. Drop by drop it fills, your blood mixing with the light until the air itself takes on a strange reddish hue. Ripples spread over the blurred outline of your reflection. A sanguine radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows, and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you've begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. Hello! Are you still alive down there? We're up here! Build a path up to us and be careful! Oh, this is super cool. Can I do anything with this? The rippling surface of the bowl shines with its own light. Ooh! Let's try to overturn the bowl. That can't be bad, right? When you touch it, you feel a strange tightness in your head, and soon discover that the bowl is far too heavy to move now. Even the attempt makes your arms ache and temples throb. Let's go ahead and leave it alone. It looks like that might be a bad day if we do that. Oh man, this is all... Look at the background! That writhing, segmented background. Oh, I love it. The air thickens with each step you take towards this watery orb, and whispering voices flit across one of the countless aching gaps in your mind. This must be one of the memories you were told to find. Two figures swim down through the orb, as though it's a fathomless ocean. One vanishes into ebony depths before you can study it. The other, a male, seems to be struggling, or perhaps drowning. You realize that, like the swimmer, you cannot breathe. I'm not a really mighty guy, so let's go ahead and rescue the swimmer with speedy might speed. And we're going to be a little bit more careful this time. Let's go ahead and do 85%? Yeah, okay. Saving the guy. Ooh, permanently gain 1 speed. You plunge your hand into the orb and catch the tiny swimmer. Surprisingly strong muscles flex against your palm, and the swimmer pulls you through the breach. As he does, you feel faster. Something about this place causes even your smallest choices to shape who you are. As you plunge into the water, a memory floods your mind. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell. A bubble of stale air is your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves. But this body is an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as well you know, but he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennae. He believes that he can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, but that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. I'm gonna deceive him by telling him that I hear sounds of pursuit, because I want him to be the guy who does it. Your words echo clearly, and he looks up, surprised, as you cut through his indecisive gaze. He grimaces and says, "All right, we'll be through the door before they can catch up." His fingers make minute adjustments to the knobs and blinking levers of the device, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links water-bordered sails and the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies here. Or there, sorry. Moments later, you're underwater again, and your hands are closing around a strange artifact that seems somehow familiar. It hovers above a pedestal, writhing and spinning as if alive. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hands crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Okay, so I want the thing. I don't know what the hell a cipher even is, so I'm gonna say, I'm gonna disable the sonar pulse. Maybe that'll stop them. You focus on the cloudy base of the pedestal. Your fingers instinctively find the control panel of the jeweled force field, almost as if you had built it in the first place. You remove it, casting it to the side, and as you reach inside to deactivate the crystals that power both the pulse and the pedestal. As you remove them, a scaling hand falls on your shoulder. Your head whips around and you see only the inky darkness of a piscine eye. The memory begins to fade, as if you were drawn backward through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the arm seat have settled into that gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else, a gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. Ooh, this is so cool. Sorry, this is amazing. I played the first game later on, like 10 years after it came out, so this is a gem. I am jazzed about this. Countless scratches and wounds mar the surface of this door. Someone made a great effort to get inside, to no avail. I played the first game way after it was released, and I still had a fun time with it. No sign or symbol tells you what might be beyond this enormous door. A dull chill radiates from its bronze, segmented surface, and the thick metal wheel seems frozen into place. The light around this door's frame dims and flares, like a roaring fire in a high wind. I just love the description. This orb, this memory, resembles an eye or masked face. It turns to you with cold disdain. Mechanisms spin and mesh beneath the gleaming surface. An ominous ticking begins, getting faster and faster. Two cold facts emerge from the mental gap this memory once occupied. The ticking does indeed mean that this device will soon explode, and you have no one to blame but yourself. This trap is yours, built to protect the memory within. Let's go ahead and do the intellect one, because I'm a smart guy, and I will smartly get rid of this puzzle with smartness and my thought brain. Okay, good. You focus, shutting out the racing ticks of the device, and see hands reaching out, gently cusping the sides of the orb like an upturned face. You feel the connections in your mind increasing, strengthening. You touch the orb in the same way, and the mechanisms within grow still, as the warmth of the memory races up your arm and into your mind. You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metal disc gleams from the center of the plateau. Your self-aware humanoid creatures drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were, desperately, this seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the other ones we've found? Do I draw her attention to hidden details? Use my charm? Nah. I will convince her with the wisdom of my superior intellect. Hey! A slight chill enters the air as you describe the potential power of the metallic disc below and the sealed vaults beneath it. She nods. So that's what your servitor machines are doing down there? You've already chosen this as the site, haven't you? She waits for your affirmation and says, "All right, I'm convinced." The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend onto the plateau to examine the open ground. Scroll up. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. When you try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you to rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Use Numenera? I have no idea what that even is. Examine for the construct for mechanical faults. Look for a deeper solution, perhaps in the effect of the metal disc itself. I would look for faults in the machine first, and then see if there's any bigger design. So let's look for him for faults. Everything resolves into sharp focus, and you see that the servitor's rear actuators are corrupted. You dig into the construct's back. It seems not to mind as long as you don't interfere with its task. Deftly, you reset the actuators and see an energy spark into disused portions of the construct's brain. The construct resumes its work, and this time it listens when you speak to it. Acknowledged. It obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter. The image freezes and then fades, and you feel the memory filling the gap in your mind, block by jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head. Reclaiming your memories hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift one by one on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you're doing, and is hunting you. I'm excited. So this is kind of the same way that the older game fleshed out too. What do you call it? You're like the nameless one or something. Your fingers are twitching, your mind races. Each blink sends branching streams of white fire across the inside of your eyelids. You can't deny it. You feel stronger and sharper, more whole than when you landed here. Captive light swirls mockingly beneath the thick surface of the orb before you, obscuring shadows and memories beyond it. You will need to claim them somehow if you are to be free of this place, and to find your companion. I will coax the shadows to the front of the glass so I can see them, and I will make sure I have at least an 85% chance. Good. Glad to see odds were ever in my favor. Your confidence grows. Speaking quietly, you call a slender shadow to the surface of the glass, into the light. It is a young woman bound in chains of sorrow. She speaks quietly of a memory. You lean in, closer and closer, until her whispered words fill your mind. Ellipses. A vision of city springs up around you, your city in flames and under attack. Her defenders have fought and died all today. And still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn towards the door of the tower, two of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor, and holding a hilt with a sizzling invisible blade. Your companion backs away. She is too young to help. Your enemies advance in single file, confined by the parapet. I will not trade blows with the giant. No, screw that. And I don't want to fight defensively because I might not have time to figure out who presents the greater threat. So I think I'm going to duck under the giant's swing and attack before he can strike. That way, that's what I'm going to do. You roll under the blurring arc of his axe. He's overconfident, testing you without committing to the attack. Yes, he's fast, but not as fast as you are. And when he raises the giant axe above his head to finish you, you're able to bury your blade under his breastplate. The blade emerges from the back of his neck, and his lifeblood washes over your hands. He falls, taking your weapon with him, and his companion attacks. Her invisible blade is far more lethal than the giant's axe. You duck as she thrusts at you, and the wall behind you hisses, destroyed. Her return swing cuts through your armor, ruining your breastplate. She doesn't have to be skilled with a weapon like this. She just has to make contact. You time your attack just as she pulls it back for another strike. You barrel into her, driving her over the wall, and she drops screaming to the ground 50 meters below. The immediate threat ended, you focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. I don't want to be aggressive. If I can, I want to sneak past them. That's what I want to do. You press yourself against the gleaming door, easing it open, and your breath catches in your throat as it squeaks quietly, the sound like a bell in your memory. You pause, but the soldiers in the hall continue to talk. You push again, squeeze yourself through the narrow opening, and creep down the blood-stained hall. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you as a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. Guys, I am so jazzed by this right now. You have no idea. I love RPGs like this. And there's a lot of writing in this game. The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocking symbols, daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their forehead. Well, their head, but forehead, sure. In their eyes, their actions, you see memories you've discovered within the orbs, and the choices you made, shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, and though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and a slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling towards the ceiling. Okay, do I want the doppelganger with clever eyes? The one slipping gracefully through the mob, clanging the throne of books, smooth-talking the others, stealthy through the crowd. What's gracefully through the mob and stealthily through the crowd? Is that like a big difference? For me, I'm going to be reclining on a throne of books, because I am one book-reading mofo. After tucking a few choice tomes under its arm, the doppelganger makes its way over to you. It launches into a fascinating lecture on prior world technologies of all kinds, sentient defenses used on the walls of an ancient empire, mystical energy fields protecting a steadfast battalion, and a mutating bacteria, once a beneficial creation, perhaps, but now a grotesque, weaponized disease. The doppelganger falls silent, waiting for your decision. Yeah, that is who I am. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face exudes intelligence and confidence. Shadows of several devices shimmer all around it. Technology of several kinds from a myriad of past ages. You get the feeling you would be comfortable with all of it. The word nano sounds in your mind. Your doppelganger continues walking, stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. Your decision rings out into the cavernous room, awakening and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly, a grotesque noise rings through your shared worlds, like a bell if bells could rot. Something is coming. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. You take a deep breath and enter. All right, and that is the start of Tides of Numenera. Numenera? this game, I am completely jazzed, dudes. I am completely jazzed about this. But this is also where I'm going to end it and create my own character. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, this is the Misanthropic Lord signing off. Have a good one, guys. Hello there, this is the Misanthropic Lord, and welcome to Undertale. Oh no. If I do anything wrong with this game, people are gonna kill me. You understand that, right, Phil?
Howdy, I'm Flowey, Flowey the Flower.
Oh my god, I'm a huge fan of THE. What recipes you got on your thing? Chefy? Hey, I didn't accidentally turn you into Shodan, did I? GLaDOS, maybe?